It's an interesting question. Certainly, a press release is being issued on the 23rd of September, by the way. In fact, lead applicants will have been notified of that. The lead contact on your applications phase one will have been notified of that fact, and will ask if you object to having your name or the lead applicant's name and the project title on our press release. So there is something coming out that's public like that. I guess it would be possible to put some information up. It depends. I think we'd have to ask everyone their permission, because some people may want to share what their project is more than others. But I certainly would be in favour of it, personally. But we'd have to think about it, how we did it, so that we don't upset anyone who doesn't want to do that. But again, through the forum, that might be one way of starting to see who else is working on it, because you can see all the members and who they work for and things too. No. For the build of it, no, we don't, actually. I don't know if we should, but we haven't, no. Oh, yes, absolutely. That's what it's for, is for paying the costs of what it takes to do. And you should bear that in mind when you fill in your application form. Again, I'm not encouraging you to overestimate, but don't feel we're not judging you on the cost. We're not going to say, this team's cheaper than this one. It's not about that. It's about the innovation. This is really research and development. Okay, it's linked to government procurement, and it's a contract rather than a grant, which is excellent, because it means legally we can fund you 100% rather than 50%, which we could only do if it was a grant. So this is a 100% contract, but really it's still about R&D that will inform government procurement. But you can, any costs that, put it down there. And actually you'll find that compared to some of our other competitions, the cost part of the application form is not very complicated, actually. It should be quite straightforward. Not very, pretty much similar to the phase one cost part, which was quite simple. Yeah, no, if you want to do an airtightness test, if you want to do any pre-phase 2 testing, any phase 1 testing, let's say, that's up to you to fund and organise. If you want Energy Saving Trust's advice on it, maybe, I don't know if you even provide it as a service, I don't know, but you would have to contact them directly and pay for that out of your phase 1 budget. That was really the idea of the phase 1 budget as well, was to cover any costs of that sort of thing, yeah. So the Energy Saving Trust, just to make it clear, Energy Saving Trust work is purely associated with phase 2. You'll have to arrange how you do that, but if that isn't possible, then at least you should, for your potential phase 2 project, that would be very useful information, I presume. So you should at least keep it, and then somehow download it onto it when it's ready or something, I guess. Yeah, no, that's very interesting. Yeah, if you're already measuring buildings, that would be very good. How much data do we need of the before case? Well, we're not. There isn't a requirement to do, say, for instance, as was just mentioned, 6 months of monitoring before you do any work. It would have been interesting to do that, but there's various constraints and other things on this funding, and we need to get it going. So we haven't proposed you do that. If you're doing that already, or if you want to do that, and bearing in mind you may not get a phase 2 contract still, of course, but if you want to do that, then feel free. I mean, I think I'd say that the pre-build kind of testing was what James was talking about earlier, which was the thermal imaging, airtightness. That was essentially it, wasn't it? Yes, there's no real monitoring. Yeah, I should say, by the way, the Energy Saving Trust document and our measures is really what we sometimes refer to as core measures. If you wanted to go above and beyond and do slightly different things, that's fine, as long as you do the core part too. So if you wanted to do some measuring now, or you want to do much more, you want to measure every time somebody opens the front door, whatever, you can do that, and it will be useful. It's just beyond what we call our core requirement. I'm going to take one more question because we're coming back for the panel and it's lunchtime, and that's, yeah. Well, that question was asked in the previous event too, and I didn't answer it. I think you answered it, Pete.
Yeah, I think our view is that avoiding is very interesting until we've got to this sort of level of cuts first. It's kind of irrelevant. You know, if something is going to be the next thing, right, undoubtedly we'll be looking at and probably, I don't know, depends how long it takes to see. But right now, we're playing.
Yeah, don't forget that we're being driven. This is a response to government policy. That's one of our roles, is to make sure that that the UK industry is able to meet the challenges posed by government policy. And government policy at the moment deliberately does not pay much attention to embodied energy. It is deliberately focusing on the energy in use. And everyone kind of knows it's an issue, but that's where we are at the moment. That's what's driving the market. That's what people are going to be mandated to deliver. And therefore, that is the market opportunity for you guys at the moment.
Okay, thank you.